Alright, this is the fourth video in the VS Code extension series. In previous videos, we have looked at a tier list of essential extensions, themes, as well as some of the less well-known extensions. In this video, we're going to look at extensions for web development in particular, so keep watching if you're interested. The first extension is one called Color Picker. So you can open up your extensions page by doing Command-Shift-X or Control-Shift-X, and if you search for Color Picker, this will be the first option, and basically what it does is it allows you to easily select the colors for your CSS. So if you're editing a CSS file, normally you can just type in, let's say over here, you can do color and let's say red. And once you have this over here, you can actually hover over this color and you can very easily select the color that you want. And of course this works, but if let's say you're in a JavaScript file over here and you want to add in a color, so let's say you add a color, you say it's red, this time you won't be able to see the color being displayed. So if let's say you run into this because you're using React or some framework, then you can install Color Picker. Once you enable this, you see that there are two ways that you can go about doing this. First, you can do Alt-C followed by P, or if you're on a Mac, there will be Option-C followed by P. And the other way is just to open up your command palette by doing Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P and then typing in pick. And you can see at the bottom, you have the function over here. Back to the JavaScript file, if you're over here and you want to experiment with some colors, then you can do Option-C followed by P, and you can't see it because the color wheel pops up on a different window. So basically you can just drag around and see what the different colors you can go with. And one interesting point is that you also have some preset colors over here. You can even click on the drop down and select, let's say, pastel colors, and you have a whole bunch of colors already pre-made for you. So I find it's really convenient and easy to use anywhere in your files. Of course, once you have decided on the color, you can click on the OK and you should see your color right here. This extension will be even better if you use it with another one that's called Colorize. So what Colorize basically does is shown right here. It will highlight the color in your file with the color itself. So if let's say I enable this, you'll see that back here, you see no changes yet. And that's because by default, this extension only works with CSS files. But if you scroll down, you'll be able to see a way to work around this. The way to resolve this is to go into your settings.json and include this snippet over there. So if I do a Command-Shift-P, I can open up the settings, the JSON settings, and here you can add in this line of code, save it, and now if you go back, you should see that the colors are all shown over here. So really convenient, you can see that the color we added over here is also showing. And if you scroll up, you can see all the colors without you having to open up a separate color wheel or go into the console in your web browser. The last extension that's related to colors is one that's called Indent Rainbow. So again, let's search for Indent Rainbow. And basically what it does is that it helps you to identify the indentation of your code more easily. So you can see that there are colors over here. So since I have this installed, we can take a look at app.js, and you can see that with the colors yellow, green, purple, blue, yellow again. By default, VS Code already tries to help you with the lines over here, but frankly I find that a bit difficult for my eyes to follow, so I find this extension really useful for helping with that. Next, we're going to look at extensions that help with writing snippets. So this time we're going to look for ES7. See, the first extension over here, this is really helpful because it helps you with the typical snippets that we use for JavaScript, React, and Redux. The main thing when you're trying to use this extension is to take a look at the commands that are available to you. So if you look at the basic methods, you can see here are the very simple commands that you can use for basic JavaScript. So to try any of this, let's say you want to do a for each, then you can do FRE followed by an arrow. This arrow basically means tab. So if I go back into app.js, we can try it out over here. Let's say we want to do FRE tab, and then we have the snippet right away. So really simple and easy to use. Besides that, there are also React specific snippets. So if let's say I create a new file and let's just call this file.js, and let's say you want to create a new component, then you can do RAFCE tab, and there you have it. You'll automatically fill in the name of the file over here, as well as at the bottom when you export it over here. Other candidates include JS/JSX snippets, as well as JavaScript code snippets. So feel free to explore and see what works best for you. If you're using style components for React, then another useful extension is the style components snippets. So this will allow you to quickly create snippets for your style components. If you scroll down, you can see what are the shortcuts you can use. You can do SCR for style components React -header, so that will create a header component for you. Typically, I will use something like SCR-div to create a div component. So another really useful extension over here. Now the last three extensions that I'm going to share are more general purpose. The first one is one called auto rename. So this comes in really handy when you're trying to rename text in your HTML or your JSX files. So once you install it, you can simply go into your app and then select the tag that you want to change it, and you can see that right at the bottom, this change should also be reflected over here. Another way to do this if you don't want to install the extension is to just select the tag that you want to edit, hit the F2 key, and then you can simply type in what you want to have over here and click enter, and this will also work. Another useful extension that you might want to have is auto close tag, which just does what it says. It helps you to close the tags that you create. In my case, I don't actually have to install this because I believe I already have emmet installed. So if I type in HTML and click enter, the tag is automatically closed for me. And if let's say I type this out manually, for example HTML, and once I hit the closing bracket, the tag will be automatically closed, just like that. but if you don't already have this feature enabled, you can install the auto close tag extension. Last but not least, a really great extension for web development is one called Live Preview. This one is created by Microsoft themselves and it's currently under preview, but it is really quite amazing. There's a similar one that's called Live Server, which you can check out as well. But back to Live Preview, it's great for HTML files and it's not intended for projects where a server is not already created. So for example, if you're using React, Angular and so on, you won't really use Live Preview for that. If you're working with React or Angular, then you can actually just run simple browser show, which is a command that's already built in within VS Code. So if you scroll down, here's more information about it. There will be a preview button in the top right corner of your editor, which you can simply click on to open up the file. And of course, it comes with live refreshing. So to see this in action, I can create a simple index.html file, for example, here. And let's just go with a template. And let's say in the body, we want a h1 with a header and save. Now I can click on the preview button over here. If you hover over it, you can see it says live preview, show preview. Just click on that and you can see you have your web page being displayed. To close this, simply click on the cross and you're done. So those were the VS Code extensions that I find really helpful for web development. If you found this video useful, do give it a like, share it with anyone who might find this useful as well, and do consider subscribing for more content. Feel free to drop a comment or any suggestions down below and I'll be happy to chat with you. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.